let's go shoot into this report real quickly. I want to talk about a couple of mistakes in the report, or logical mistakes that are here. But I'm only going to point to one now for food for thought. The center hole hydraulic jack. We see it's attached. It's reported per this OSHA report that they finished the cycles at 50 kips per cycle. So I'll search now this document. Let me type in here real quickly. Oops, let me type in here real quickly. It's going to pull up what we need to see. I type in the word 50. I get 11 results. As I bounce around for 50, we see right here that on March 13th and the 15th, FIG instructed the contractor to retension the two post-tension bars and diagonals 11 to a force of 280 kips, each incrementally, so A and B, in that member 11. Incrementally with approximately 50 kips retention at a time, alternating between the upper and lower post-tension bars. That would be A and B. It is understood from the structural technologies employees that at the time of the collapse, both post-tension bars were retensioned to the desired force of 280 kips. Well, interesting, one of the employees died. The other one's pretty much was brain dead in the hospital in a coma. Doesn't recall the accident at all, as his wife states that we don't even tell him about the accident at all. So that's two employees. That leaves one employee left. They state that it is understood from structural technologies employees with an S. As I understand it, VSL only had 3 total workers up there, one dead, one brain dead. All right. I'm saying energy. Okay, let me see if I can find that location for you. I stated earlier, one VSL employee was fatally injured and another VSL employee was critically injured. That's the one that's not of his bright mind now. They're supposed to be so great. In South Florida, supposed to know what he's doing, and yet he didn't stop himself from post-tensioning here. So obviously, he's not that great. And now he's resolved himself out of the gene pool of greatness. VSL, the 6th person was the MCM. Okay, right here. A crane was available at the site to position the jack and attach it to the bar beside the bar being tensioned. There were 3 VSL employees. Kevin Hansen, brain dead guy now, pretty much, brain stupid. This guy, Ramoy Galborn, would be the only one that would know if they finished it, because it stated that VSL, via this report, is stating that VSL is the one that is what identified him, is what is identified as telling it. They retensioned the bars 50 kips at a time, alternating between the upper bars right there. So how do we get down here where he states, the report states, it is understood from structural technologies employees with an S that at the time of the collapse, both tension bars were retensioned at the desired force of 280 kips at the time of collapse. So they should have been saying they were removing the equipment then, and then the collapse happened. Not we just finished it. We just got to 50 and the bridge collapsed. So that to me, and you have to trust the VSL employees for their data, and it would be one employee. The other two are, one is dead and one is absent of mind. Yeah, I have no pity for him. Sorry, guys, I'm not down with that. So now we come here to the report still. Let me show you an image. I already showed you the machine still there. In this report, they show the images just before the collapse. I'm also going to state that the blowout was not a blowout, but it was a lift off, and that's because the blister back here sticks out approximately 10 inches. It jacked it when it hit the pier. It forced this up and off, and that's why you see all the rebar, the reinforcement, in a vertical upright position, not pushed away towards us. And if you look at the pier, it didn't rub against the pier on the way down. You see the caps are in great shape. A couple of reinforcement did that stuck out to begin with, but it looks like this. That blister was out here. As it fell free, it sheared that off and lifted that up. You see what I see there, right? It looks like the black pipe sticking out, but yet we don't see that. We see it way back here. This pipe tells a story on how it's sheared also. Did it shear up or down? Well, the reinforcement goes up. So this would be what a break looks like if the forces were coming from the bottom up in a confined compartment. This would create a hinge effect in here because the confinement, and also number 11 is part of the confinement. The two forces meeting create the breakage we see between 11 and 12. Now let's go to that image I just showed you. I just mentioned. So for clarity, you say that you might think that, oh, the rebar was straightened up sliding down the structure. And here's a proof of that, these scratches. These scratches are from these smaller pieces of rebar that were sticking outside the deck, not here, as you do not see any rub marks on the back of these guys. Also, this isn't touching. These reinforcement here is not touching. It may look like it is not. Let's use that one. Perhaps that one is. But I went over that in another video of mine. There's a nice piece of chunk of concrete here. I would love to know if this is the back of 12, the bottom of on the deck, part of the canopy. The shearing didn't take place as they report in the report, because here it is here. It was mechanically sheared afterwards, but the report is alluding that it was sheared somehow, like during a failure. The photographs amazingly get pixelated in such, this day and age. They have this terrible quality, so we can't do what we're doing here. This equipment is still there, attached. So they finished just at the time of failure, right here. I find that very hard to believe. Yeah. Also, it's only one person. The others stating that, not people. They photographed this, but don't show us the very end. You could have counted the thread counts on that, and it would have gave us data. So what are they going to? They were removing it at that time. Were they removing it at that time? The crane's gone now, but we would like to see the crane connected to this. How much does this equipment weigh? Was that what the manpower was up there for? I don't know. Were they trying to move that by hand each time? This is what I'm referring to, that this liftoff, if you will, took place here. I want to show you, this is before the images they state, rotate clockwise, that they state happened just before the collapse. Oh, we did that. Okay, hold on. The photographs are going to orient. Obviously, I got a turn of events on me. Let me scroll up still. Bear with me on it, please. We're going back to that same image. But I'm going to show you that, as the report stated, they were just finished post-tension before the failure. Here's the failure. Take note of the oil truck right here. This appears to be an oil or septic truck. Let me zoom out. Pixelation. Take note of pixelation. It seems to be unjustly located at where we're trying to look at. There's the oil truck again. Right here, this truck is here. So this is the image before the collapse. Well, I'll accept that. And look what we have, a huddling of people there. One's going to be dead, one's going to be brain dead, and the other rest are mute. They lost all their voices. Except for when they said they post-tension everything back. So this is, I think the jacking was still going on at the time during this failure, but they want to pretend like it's not. That way you can say, it wasn't, we weren't doing it. It shouldn't have been post-tensioning. We need to see the raw pictures in this. The pixelation, it can work in your favor if you can find the symmetry of pixels. I think I spoke to Doss about this. See, Doss, when I zoom in, notice the pixels. They tell a story. The pixels, the straightness tells a story. The straightness tells a story. A little wave there, maybe right before failure, as they stated. But I don't know if that wave is artifact, as we refer to it with photography and digital reproduction, referred to as artifacts. It's one pixel trying to guess what the pixel next to it is doing. We don't know the camera. If we knew the camera, we'd be able to figure out what's going on too. but that's just before the failure. Terminating the video, just wanted to give you guys food for thought that they stated they finished it post-tensioning when the bridge collapsed. Does this look like they finished? This looks like they're all huddling up there. It doesn't look like they've all taken off. They did not state the obvious that we finished post-tension. We were removing the jack when the bridge failed. That's the obvious that should have been stated. I'm terminating video.